Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hey, just want to say thanks to my recently new subscribers. And if you're new here, if you like the content, you can go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button for post notifications. And also, yeah, so here we got another episode of the Crypto Nation Reacts. This is from the Altcoin Daily. They got a pretty big following. They keep us up to date what's going on, with the crypto and the whole crypto community. But anyways, this title of this video is called "The Weird Reason Bitcoin Price is About to Explode." But anyways, for this episode, let's see what they're talking about. Go ahead and get a chance to subscribe and hit the like button for post notifications. Hey, let's get right on to it.
Good evening.
We're facing an inflection point.
I want my grandchildren to know I was here at this moment.
The next president of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
Question for you. Is Bitcoin exploding because the market is pricing in a Trump victory? Trump is a pro-Bitcoin candidate.
Hello, Bitcoiners.
The market thinks Trump will win, so Bitcoin is going up.
We will make America and Bitcoin bigger, better, stronger, richer, freer, and greater than ever before.
Or is Bitcoin exploding because the market is pricing in a Kamala victory?
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You know?
The market knows that Democrats spend, Democrats print money, and investable assets like Bitcoin tend to increase with loose monetary policy. Let me actually gauge our audience. Do you identify more as a Republican or a Democrat?
But you can't do this to me.
Comment Republican or comment Democrat in my comment section. Just one word. It'll be interesting to see the results.
Just do it!
There is a school of thought that a Kamala presidency is actually better for Bitcoin and a Trump presidency is actually better for Ethereum. What do you think?
There's actually a different perspective, which was it doesn't matter sort of like your political sway whatsoever, but if Kamala becomes president, it's pro-Bitcoin. And the reason why, pro-Bitcoin over everything else. And the reason why is because of the $10 trillion Green New Deal, the massive ramp in spending, the debasing of the dollar because macroeconomic reasons. Whereas the Trump position is pro-Ethereum because it's pro-innovation, it's pro-experimentation, it's pro-regulatory framework. And think about the comparison of the two. If the Democrats want to be pro-crypto, they have to catch up to the level of having a safe harbor, having a regulatory framework, allowing people to try things, allowing tests and experimentations from an entrepreneurial perspective, onshoring entrepreneurs again that have left in the last 5 years. Like it is a pretty steep hill to climb, and I mean, we obviously welcome it, but there is an interesting angle of the two perspectives are not necessarily not pro-crypto, it's just they're pro-crypto in very different ways.
You know, there is a crypto summit going on in Wyoming right now. Anthony Scaramucci weighs in on why the market has been trending down/sideways, and yet now Bitcoin's price is going up. Listen.
Well, let's talk about the fundamentals for a second, because I think you're right. We've traded sort of sideways to down recently. Some of that, I think, is just related to supply overhang. You had the Mt. Gox bankruptcy, the eventual distributions. It took 10 years. You had some sovereign selling, which I think included the United States, but also the government of Germany sold a big stash of their Bitcoin. I think that also put pressure on the markets. But I think the reason why you are suggesting that the market sentiment is still bullish is you got a lot of incoming net inflows to the Bitcoin ETF, net inflows to the Ethereum ETF. And so there's a general bullishness. Also, it usually takes a few months after a Bitcoin halving. And so we've experienced the halving in April, and a result of which things churn a little bit and miners sell because they need to make their revenues. But as that selling abates and supply constrains again, I think we're going to have a very good second half of the year. The Republicans led the idea that they were going to be pro-Bitcoin, and so Donald Trump does deserve credit for that. Maybe it was Vivek Ramaswamy or others that got to him. He was very negative on crypto, and he's now pivoted towards crypto and, of course, spoke at the Bitcoin conference. And so there's a group of us that are with Kamala Harris who've endorsed her that want to see some type of pivot or change for the Democrats. And I would just remind people from a regulatory perspective how early it is. And I'll take people back 10 or 12 years ago where lots of regulators and government officials did not want Uber in the marketplace. If you asked them, they didn't want Uber. The taxi licenses were good enough. But the people wanted Uber. And I think that's true about crypto in general. The people want crypto, as evidenced by the number of wallets that are out there. And so it could be a pivotal point in the election. I don't think the Democrats believe that yet, frankly. I think they think it's too small of a voting group. But I would just remind people, if 50 million people have wallets, and let's say 3% of those people are single-issue voters, that's 1.5 million people. And, there are a lot of those people are in swing states that could be a single-issue voter. So I think it's a very risky strategy to be anti-crypto. And so I'm hoping that Kamala Harris and the team associated with her will make a pivot and be more open to the idea of fair and appropriate crypto regulation. And I do applaud the Trump people for doing that.
A lot of people in this space will say that crypto does have a lot of Democratic support, and it doesn't seem like that because primarily of Gensler and Warren. Do you agree with that, or do you think that we could use a little bit more on the Democrat
Well, we could
side?
always we could use a little less Elizabeth Warren, a little less Gary Gensler, and more Senator Gillibrand and Senator Schumer. I think I've met with them individually, and they're on board. Ro Khanna is on board. There's a lot of very smart Democrats that are on board. And if you look at the dispersion demographically, it feels like older Democrats not on board, younger Democrats on board. And so I think that speaks to it as well. I think we have to move to the next generation of leadership, and we have to make sure that the United States doesn't lose its mantle of financial services leadership. So yeah, we need more. We need less of those guys, more of the other thing.
The fact is, Bitcoin and Ethereum cannot stay at these price levels for long. In my opinion, Bitcoin sometime this year gets over $70,000 in a very clear way. Ethereum reclaims $4,000. And after that point, we see an epic alt season like we've never seen before. Traditionally, historically, after Bitcoin breaks over all-time highs, the next 9 months is when the biggest gains in the bull market happen. And my thesis is that Bitcoin and Ethereum, if nothing else, will make it over all-time highs sooner rather than later because they're accepted by institutions, because of stuff like this. All global Bitcoin ETFs currently hold over 1 million Bitcoin. BlackRock recently just surpassed 20 billion in inflows. Institutional demand is here. And Ethereum is doing so well, but it's so rarely covered, except for channels like us, so make sure you subscribe. BlackRock's Ethereum ETF surpasses 1 billion in net inflows. BlackRock hit 1 billion for Ethereum, nearly tripling Fidelity, and the Ethereum ETFs have been highly successful. Think about it like this. Excluding Grayscale's Ethereum ETF, over 2 billion has now come into spot ETH ETFs since launch. And that's only 4 weeks. For context, if viewed cumulatively, that 2 billion would equal the top 4 ETF launches this year. The top 3 ETFs are all spot Bitcoin ETFs, and on its own, the iShares Ethereum ETF is a top 7 ETF. And I think certainly in the next couple years, if not by next year, they will be amending the Ethereum ETFs to include staking. In my opinion, that is a foregone conclusion. I can't imagine that BlackRock and Fidelity have not already have extensive discussions on this matter with the SEC. And this would be one of the main drivers for growth. So keep in mind, it is amazing what we're seeing with the spot Bitcoin ETFs, the spot Ethereum ETFs. Here's the thing, we've been so early in this cycle, you wouldn't...
Like you said, Bitcoin, there's a lot of selling pressure at about 68 to 70,000. There's selling pressure. The last time Bitcoin got up to 68,000, 69,000, it quickly got rejected and then it dumped again. But let's see what happens this time around. Let's see if, Bitcoin finally gets back up to 60, about 68 to 70K, whatever. Let's see what happens. Hopefully this time it doesn't dump. But eventually the Bitcoin bears are going to eventually get crushed at about 70K. But I ain't gonna lie, they've been winning over these last several months, man. The Bitcoin bears, they've been winning with that, that key rejection at about 70K. But anyways, let's continue here.
really expect Bitcoin to surpass all-time highs till the very end of this year or the very early next year. Think about it like this. In 2013, Bitcoin topped, the cycle topped 367 days after the halving. In 2017, it was 526 days after the halving. In 2021, it topped 548 days after the halving. If Bitcoin follows the 2021 cycle, it could top somewhere October 2025. So the end of next year, Q4 of next year. When do you think Bitcoin tops? Look, guys, the market is not that exciting right now, but this is exactly the time you want to double down on your education, take out any positions you've been wanting to take out. If you believe that the future of this space is going up, if it's going in that direction, why wouldn't you take this as a buying opportunity? That's what I'm doing. Of course, not financial advice. You do you. My name is Aaron, Altcoin Daily. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. See you tomorrow, my friend.
Alrighty, that concludes that episode. Let's see what Bitcoin is at now. Right now, we're at about 60,000. I think overnight we was at 61,000, and we pulled back. And Ethereum is just barely over 2,600. Then we got Solana 143. Solana's been trading pretty flat. I think there's been some type of a rumor of the SEC trying to attack Solana, but I'm gonna try to find out more information about that. There's XRP trading flat, like always, at 59 cents. But anyways, guys, that is my take. Oh, Internet Computers is up almost 13% for the 7 day. So look like Internet Computers trying to make a comeback. But anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. That's my concludes the episode of Crypto Nation Reacts. Hey, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.